here is our starting file. We've just got one collection called ball rig underscore util. This is going to be home to all of our geometries that we're going to swap in to our actual rig. So you can see that I've already turned off the renderability, so this is not going to show in our final render. And each one of these has a subsurf modifier on them. So that's our collection. I'm going to just hide it from the view now because we don't actually need to see it. But now I'll add the rest of the structure. So I'm just going to create a collection. This is going to be the master collection. So I'm going to call it ball, and might as well go ahead and drag the utilities collection into there. And then I need two more collections. One's going to be home for the actual control rig, and the other one's going to be home for the geometry, even though we're going to swap it out with the geometries that is in this collection. So let's click this twice. Let's call this one ball rig and call this one ball geo. And let's just restructure it so that the utilities is on the bottom. That's just personal preference. And now we can add our geometry here into the geometry collection. So I'm going to hit Shift A, going to choose a mesh, and let's choose a UV sphere, even though it doesn't really matter because we're going to swap this geometry out, but we are going to make it a radius of 0.5 so that the diameter is 1 meter. There we go. And I'm also going to raise it up to 0.5 so that it sits on the ground there, but it has a diameter of 1 meter. Let's name this. Let's call this one ball geo, and I will copy that name, paste it into the data. We're ready to add our rig now. All right, so I'm going to add an armature at the cursor location with Shift A. Now your menu might look a little bit different to mine. That's because I have the Rigify add-on enabled. But if you don't have that enabled, it's just going to say armature here. But I'm just going to click that. Now I have a single bone armature. You should also remember from the fundamentals course that I've already added the in front option to my quick favorites. So I will enable that. And now I can see the armature through the mesh, but I'm also going to change the viewport display so I can see through the armature as well. Then I'm going to jump into the side view with numpad 3 and also jump into edit mode to start building my rig. And I'll go ahead and turn on my bone names. That's in my quick favorites as well. And I can duplicate the bone that's already here and then rotate it. Oh, I need to change the pivot point there to individual origins. And this one's going to be my root bone. So I'm just going to rotate it 90 degrees. I will name that as well, root. And I might as well name the other bone as well. Now this one is actually going to do the stretching. So technically it's a mechanism bone, but I will call it DEF body. That's just to make it more logical for your brain, even though I'm breaking one of my rules, but I'm kind of overriding that with keeping it logical. But I will end up arguing with myself about this later. Anyway, moving on, I'm going to duplicate that root bone because it's already aligned in the correct orientation. And then I'm going to change my snapping mode over to vertex up here. So I can hold down the control key when I move the bone and it's going to snap to the top. This is way too big, so I will shrink it down to about 0.25 and I'll name that one top because that's going to be my top control. I'll duplicate that one and then snap it to the bottom, and I might as well call that one bottom. Bottom. Now we also need some mechanism bones in the same spot. So let me select both of them at the same time, and then I can duplicate them, but cancel that movement, and then scale it down by hitting S.75. That way it's easy to tell them apart. Now I'll change the names with the batch renaming tool, Control F2. I will set the name. I'll change it over to affect the bones. And then I want to make sure that I'm adding a prefix, and the prefix will be MCH hyphen. And now I can remove the 001 off the end of the name. So I'll launch that up again and then change it over to strip the characters. And then I can hold down Shift when I choose these options here and strip the punctuation and the digits at the same time. So now I have a nice clean name for those mechanism bones. I only need two more bones right in the middle of this long one here. So I'm going to select that bone, and because I'm in edit mode, if I snap my cursor to the selection, that's going to jump to the middle of the two elements that I have selected. That is the head and the tail of the bone. So now my cursor is exactly where I want it to be. I can add a new bone with Shift A, and then I will rotate it 90 degrees. This is way too big, so I'll scale it down to 0.5, and then I'll name that one the spin bone. I do need one more bone in that same spot, so I'll duplicate it and then scale it just a little bit bigger, 1.25. And of course, I'll name that one body. That's all the bones created, so I will name the armature object now. I'm going to call it ball underscore rig, and then I can copy that name and paste it into the data name. Now the next step is going to make it easier to select the right bones. So I'm going to change my display mode over to B-bone. That's under the data tab in the viewport display. I'll change it to B-bone here. Then I can edit the size that the bones are displayed. It only affects the way they're displayed, nothing else about the functionality. But I'll make this a long one skinnier with Control-Shift-Alt-S, the world's longest shortcut. And then I can do the same with the root bone, shrink that down. And I can do the next ones all at the same time. So I will Shift select all the longer ones and then shrink them down. Oh, maybe I just need it to be a tad bigger so I can easily select those bones here. And that's going to make the parenting step much easier. All right, let's do the parenting. I'll start at the top and work my way down. So this mechanism bone should be parented to the top control. The spin bone needs to be parented to the def body bone. That's the one that's going to do the stretching. So Control P, keep offset. And then down the bottom, we've got our mechanism bottom should be parented to our control bottom. Control P, keep offset. And also this stretch, I'm going to parent that to the bottom control as well. And then I want to grab the top control and the bottom control. I want to parent those to the longer body bone there. Control P, keep offset. And then the last bone is this one. We need it to follow along with the root. Control P, keep offset. So now if we go to pose mode, the root bone should move everything. The body bone should move the whole rest of the chunk. The top should move the top control. This one here should move the whole chain except for our other controls. And while we're dealing with the construction of these bones, there's just one more thing that I'd like to do in this section of the video. I'm going to switch all of the bones from the default quaternion and rotation over to Euler XYZ. And this will make it easier to animate as there's only going to be 3 rotation channels rather than 4. So I can select all of the bones. Then while holding down Alt, I will change the rotation mode over to Euler XYZ. And that's adjusted all of those bones at once. Now I only really needed to do that on the control bones, but there's no harm in switching all of them over. I will come back and lock any of the unused channels, but I'll do that at a later stage. So for now, we're moving on to creating the widgets. The next step is going to be to add some widgets to our rig here, and it's going to make things easier to see when we set up our constraints. I will start at the bottom and work my way up. So add a root bone to the root there. Then for the body bone, I'm going to use a circle. So let's choose circle here, create. This is on the wrong axis. So let's go rotate it on the X. And I might make that just slightly bigger. Let's go 1.15, that'll do. The spin, I'm going to use another circle as a starting point, but then I will jump into edit mode, drag this one up. I'm going to mirror this. So let's type in mirror and mirror it on the Z. Jump back into object mode so I can make this real. So let's go apply that. And then I just want to give an indication as to which way it's pointing when this spins around. So I'm going to jump to the top and add a face just between those ones. And then I might do it on the back side as well. So select those and hit F. So now we just have an indicator as to which way is pointing forward and backwards, but it's not too obtrusive. All right, so let's jump back to our bone, keep working. So the only other 2 widgets that we need are the top and the bottom. We can use circles for these or half spheres. I'll use a half sphere. So let's go create. That is too big, so let's shrink it down. And then I will flip it -90 degrees. Bang, that's looking good. Now I'll do it on the top here. Let's just make this a sphere, create. It's going to use the same settings, but I can just clear that. Well, actually, I should have made it +90, and there we go. Now let's do some colors. That's in the bone tab, viewport display. I'm going to change our bone colors, make that one red. Let's make this one red as well, the main control. This one, let's go with the yellow, and then our top and our bottom. Let's make this one orange. No, I don't like orange. Let's go with purple. Then I'll click that button there to apply it to both of those selected bones. All right, so this is what it looks like at the moment. We've got all of our shapes set up. Now we're ready for our constraints. There's not actually that many constraints. The main one is going to be the stretch to constraint on this bone here. So we want to stretch the deformation body all the way to the top control. So we select the top control first, and then shift select that one we want to add the constraint to. Then we say Control Shift C and choose stretch to. And now when we grab the top, you'll notice that it squashes and it stretches. Awesome. So let's check this out. If I stretch this now and then rotate this, you'll notice that that is squashing and stretching because it's inheriting that scale from its parent. Isn't that awesome? I will connect the geometry to that that bone there. It's going to help us see what's going on. So I'll select the geometry, then select the geometry, select our rig, and then make sure that our stretch bone is active and hit Control P. And I want to choose bone, so bone parenting there. So now we've got our squash and our stretch happening. Oh, I've done the wrong bone. I should be parenting it to the spin bone. So let's try that again. So select our mesh, then our rig, make sure that we have the spin bone selected. Silly Wayne. So now when we stretch, it's going to inherit that scale, but we can also spin it. That's looking much better. Okay, so now, wouldn't it be nice if we could get this top control to kind of align itself with the bottom without creating a dependency cycle? That's what these extra controls are for. So we're going to add a constraint on this guy to track towards the bottom, and then add a constraint on this guy to track towards the top, and then override the display of our widgets to use these mechanism bones. All right, so I'm going to turn on my axes to do that. So I'll display my axes so that we can actually see what axes that we want. I can see that the positive Z is pointing up, so I want to track towards the negative Z. So let's select where we want to track to first. That will be the bottom control, and then shift select this mechanism bone at the top, and then choose a damp track. It's going to point in the wrong direction, but we can open up our constraint and then say we want it to track towards the negative Z. Awesome. And now I'm going to override the display of this control to use the transforms of that. So we select our bone, go down into the viewport display, and down here we've got override transform. I'm going to choose the mechanism top, and you'll notice that it now will automatically track the bottom, although it's just an optical illusion. We're not actually rotating anything. It just appears like it is. So let's do that one more time for our bottom. We want our mechanism bone to track the top control. So first we select the top control, then shift select our mechanism at the bottom, then choose our damp track. And this one, we want it to track to the positive Z. So positive Z, boom, there we go. And now we can override the display of this guy here to use the transforms of that. So let's select our control, jump over into the viewport display, and then change the override transform to be the mechanism bottom. Awesome. And that is all the mechanics of our rig setup. So let's move on to the next part. I'm going to add some collections now to keep everything organized. So I will add a mechanism collection. I will call that MCH. And technically our deformation bone isn't really a deformation bone, but I am going to put that on the def collection. I'll also need to add a root collection, and we'll add one for our squash and stretch controls. I'll just call that one stretch. And I will move that just above the root, just so that our root is on the bottom. Let's add a collection for the spin control. And then there'll be one final one which we will house the body bone on, but I'm going to call that one main. And then we're going to move everything to the right location. So let's move the root bone to the root collection. Let's select our top and our bottom controls, move that to the stretch collection. The spin, let's move it to the spin collection. And this one might already be on, no it's not. Our mechanism bones, let's put them on the mechanism layer. And our deformation bone, which is not really a deformation bone, let's stick that on the def collection. All right, so next I'm going to do some more tidy up and lock all of the channels that the animator is not going to need, and turn off the deformation for everything as well. It's not important for this setup, but it's just a really good habit to get into. It's really easy. I'm going to select all of our bones, and then hit Shift W and turn off deform. And just to doubly make sure, I always turn it to disable. That way I know it's not going to toggle. I'm going to force it to turn it off to everything. Now I can turn the deformation off on all of the bones because, as I said 17 times now, we're not actually doing any real deformation. The trick happens from our parenting on this spin bone. All right, so let's continue by turning off everything else that we don't need. So I'm going to start with all of these bones here, our def bone and our mechanism bones. We don't want the animator to be able to touch them at all or add any animation to them. So we're just going to lock everything by holding down Alt, and now they're locked. Now here with our control, we don't want them to be able to do any scaling because it does nothing. And the rotation is actually controlled by the constraint on our mechanism bone here. So the only thing that we want them to do is translate. So I'm going to lock everything else, but I'll do both controls at the same time. So I'll shift select those ones, and then hold down Alt to lock the rotation and the scale. With our spin control, We don't want them to translate this bone or scale it. So I'm going to lock that, lock the location and the scale. We want to leave everything open on our body control because we want it to scale, we want it to rotate, and we want it to translate. And the same with our root control. All right, and so now that we've done all that, we can actually hide the layers that we don't need, or our collections rather, so we don't need the deformation or the mechanism. And now we're ready to do our geometry swapping.